We get so caught up in the last promotion we got, and we forget to keep working. We get so caught up. We get what we've been working for, and then we sit down as if what we were working, the way we were working didn't get us where we are. Amen. Y'all ever wanted a raise from your boss? What you did? Every time you know he was in the building, you was making sure you was sweeping out the corners. You was making sure everything in your area, your workplace was clean. If you worked in construction, you was making sure all the boards looked just right in your section. But the moment he gave you that money, all of a sudden, see, humans, we got a tendency to work for the goal, and once we get the goal, we stop working. And what we don't understand is when we stop working, it puts us back in the place where we were before we got to the goal. Right? Tell somebody you got to keep the same work ethic. Don't let God promote you and then you get to a place where you think that's where you're supposed to be. Right? Now, I'm not going out on a limb and talking about David, because also, although David was a man after God's own heart, we also understand that David sinned. David committed multiple sins. David messed up a bunch of times. And when I look at 1 Samuel chapter 30, I think maybe David dropped the ball. I think maybe he dropped the ball because you know, when you are in war and when you got a lot of things going on, the one thing you cannot do is leave the people that are least among you without help. Y'all quiet. The one thing you can't do as a leader is be so distracted by one thing that you leave another thing vulnerable. One of the struggles of being pastor, because the Bible says that a good shepherd, he leaves the 99 and he chases the one. But there's a thin line between chasing the one and being distracted by the one. I believe that David got to a point of his life where he was so known for war that he got distracted by the war and left his wife and his children unattended. Now let me lay this in your lap. The reason why David's children and his wives, of not only him but all of the men in his camp, were taken, because David took all of the warriors to another war. They would go out and war, and they would come back to their base camp. The issue was that they left their base camp unattended by people that could actually fight against an enemy that they thought wasn't coming. And David's men and him come back to Ziklag, and they find the place where they left their loved ones burned with fire. Now, just imagine for a second, because we're going to see a mindset of the people in a second, but I just want you to sympathize with them before you blame them for anything. Imagine following somebody, and when you get back from following, knowing that you lost everything you had. I just want to sit that on your lap for a second. What would the first thought come to your mind? If I've been following you and you said that what I had going to be protected, and when I get back, everything I have is gone, right? Our first sign, or the first notion that we would have in our head is your fault. Y'all quiet. Y'all can talk to me. It's your fault, right? You left us. What does Israel do when they were faced with the enemy coming behind them at the Red Sea? They looked at Moses and said, Moses, this is your fault. Were there not any graves in Egypt? You brought us out here to the wilderness to die.